Hello, I'm Kyle, and today I'm going to be making a tier list on every Cosmere book that is out right now. That includes Chest of the Emerald Sea. Um, Now, my opinions on this are very much valid because I am an active member of the cremposting subreddit, which is a very funny subreddit. So, I think funny equals good, so therefore my opinions are good. Now, we're going to start off with the first book in the series, Elantris. They have So the main characters are basically zombies. So I think a major plot hole in this book is that they don't just kill them all with plants. Like, I think it's a major thing. Like they're trying to get rid of the oranges or whatever, and like from like eating King Crazy Dave's house or something, and they could just put down some plants. So for that plot hole alone, I have to rank it at C. Now for the Emperor's Soul, they put the they put one of the characters in a cell made out of aluminum, which is very cool. So, wait, no, it didn't happen. I'm just gonna pretend it happened and say that that's cool. So I'm gonna call it an A. Now, for the Hope of Elantris, they basically took the first book and made it very short, so you only have to suffer that plot hole for a limited span of time. So I get to put it at B tier. Um, I don't know why that's there. I'm just gonna move that here. Um, Now, for Mistborn, The Final Empire. This is the first book I read from the entire Cosmere, and I have to say, I started off pretty good because when Mary's like, this is the American dream, and drew a flower because there are no flowers on Scadrial at this time. That was what made Kelsier be like, yeah, I'm going to realize this American dream after she dies. Oh yeah, full spoilers for Cosmere ahead. Um, However, I do have to note that after I found out that it's all French pronunciation, so it's Cossier, that made me think way too much of the French. So every time I see his name, I think of the French, which is very sad. So I'm gonna put it in C tier. Nah, B. I mean, it's not that bad. Well of Ascension. It's just like the first book, except no Kelsey. Also, one of the characters in it is named Zane, and that's the same name as one of my cousins, and I like my cousin, therefore, I like this book. Now, the Hero of Ages, I think they should rename it to The Zero of Pages between the middle and the ending because there's like no setup between the middle and the end. They were just like, yeah, let's walk across this field of ashes for 2 weeks before they get to the climax. And while the climax is good, I feel like there was no setup for it. So, out of principle, I can't really rank it as an S tier. I have to let it settle as an A tier. Now, for the 11th Metal, this is all about Kelsey, and I kind of hate that. So, D for French. Because, yeah, that's what French stands for. That's what yep. Secret History. Now, you may think this is also a D tier because that's a lot of Kelsey, but he gets slapped by Hoyd, which is the People's Champion, and that's supposed to be symbolic of the people uh, hating Kelsey. So when he beats Kelsey up, we all get a collective whoop of joy. So for that alone, and because the rest of the book isn't bad, I have to put it at A tier. The Alloy of Law. This is a cringe dad joke because like the ally of the law, and I think that's amazing. So S tier. Allomancer Jack and the Pits of Altania. This granted it came after. I think it was written around the same time as Stormlight, probably after. I don't know. But it predicted the women's undertext and the on the world of Rosha, and I have to say that's very based. So A tier. Shadows of Self. The main character's name is Wax, and yeah, and the abbreviation is SOS, which is what I'm thinking when I think about the main character's name being Wax, and but I also have to consider that because the two S's in the book title, or three technically, but abbreviated as two, I have to give it S2 just out of principle. The Bands of Morning. This is a very good morning book to read because it literally says it there. It's you read it in the morning. So I'm not very much of a morning kind of guy. Like I stopped being one, so I'm gonna have to rank this at C tier. It's a fine book otherwise. The Lost Metal. It has I don't know how to pronounce it, but Shelter from Roshar, and that's very based. So boom, top of the list. Next we got War Breaker. I like the part when the War Breaker dude said it's time to break the war, and he established the peace. And one of the important characters' names are is Callard, which is just like a character from the Stormlight books. So I think for those connections, it kind of ripped off the Stormlight books. So I have to put it at D tier. Actually, the worst book in the entire Cosmere, low key. Um, Next up, we got Shadows for Silence. This becomes a. It's weird to describe it because it's like really. I mean, it's just a weird book. You know, they emphasize the importance of silver, which is very unprecedented in the Cosmere because realistically, silver is not a very useful metal unless you're trying to make electrum, which is a very niche metal. But that's whatever. Um, so I think because I don't know, I'm just gonna make it T. That's my gut feeling, you know. Six of the Dusk. It has Burb, so we have to give it B for Burb. Now, to go completely off script, I have never read White Sand. Is that even what that is? Probably, because none of the books are in there. The graphic novels, I should say. I've never read them because one of the books is like over $100 if you're trying to get it, and I don't want to get the non-graphic novel version. So because of how expensive it is, I have to put it at D tier. Only above Warbreaker because I haven't read it, so I don't have opinions on the book. Alright, next up we got The Way of Kings. Sorry, my throat is acting up. Um, there's a scene in the book when Dalinar is eating savory food, and that reminds me of the fact that Brandon Sanderson oversalts his food, like that one article says, and that he is convincing his son to do the same. Now, the rest of the book is pretty good, I will admit, but because of that, I can't rank it as anything above B tier, so I will put it there. Now, Words of Radiance. I think it's the same thing as The Wall of Ascension, where it's just like the first book but better, but it it's about the same actually, so we're just gonna put it here. Edge Dancer, it focuses on a child that likes pancakes, and I think that's very funny. So that actually goes at top of A tier. Now, for Oathbringer, it brings up that same guy from before, down where he eats the savory foods, but he learns how to write and he learns about the undertext, and I think that revealing the secret to him kind of ruins the secret. So, in reality, this is actually the worst book in the entirety of the Cosmere. Then for Dawnshard, we have the Lopen as like one of the main characters, and I think that's freaking amazing because he's actually a good character in it. So we're actually gonna put it here. One of the best books in the entirety. Rhythm of War is a science book. It is a science textbook that you give to your high school students to teach them about science and pressure differentials and vacuums. And I gotta say, the fact that the author turned this into that kind of book, very based. So it's actually like up here. You know what? No, screw it. It is the best in reality. Trust of the MOC? Well, shoot. Well, it introduces Doug, so I think you know what we gotta do. Shoot. Frick. What am I doing? Give me 1 second. Boom. Friggin'. There we go. Dog. There we go. Now, this is the objectively correct ranking of every Cosmere book, and I hope you enjoyed that because I enjoyed making this a lot.